Lucas Sensa here, and I just got back from seeing my movie pick of the week. And, to be honest, I'm not sure where to begin with this one because it was pretty disappointing, I must say. The movie was called Takers. Pretty original name, I know. Starring Paul Walker, Matt Dillon, the guy from The Losers, Chris Brown. I can't recall too many of the actors' names. So, and Hayden Christensen, of course, can't forget him. But I can't. I can't be very analytical because that's just. I don't know. I don't like breaking down things into smaller things. When I see a movie, I usually get an opinion on how I might like it within the first 10 minutes, and then it kind of changes itself if it wants to do that. And right from the beginning, I could tell this movie wasn't going to be that good. First of all, I didn't expect much from it. I was hoping for a surprise, but I wasn't putting all my chips in on it yet. And it's a good thing I didn't, because I didn't really get surprised. It was so average. It was so average, and it was tough to sit through and watch all the way through. And I'm glad I did, because it had a few bright spots. I won't lie. It had its moments. It had some really, really good action scenes near the end. That couldn't carry it though. The director of photography, I want to find out who this guy is. I seriously need to find out who the director of photography of this is. It looked like it was filmed by a 10-year-old. It was so... I think Cloverfield had better photography than this. It was so jumpy. The camera was so shaky. It was zoomed in on everything. I could barely tell what was going on. There was one chase scene where Chris Brown was running from the cops, and it was all blurry. I couldn't tell what was going on. He was running throughout the streets. The cops were shooting at him. Matt Dillon and his partner was chasing after him. By the way, Matt Dillon was the only character I cared one iota about in this movie. He was the only character, in my opinion, that was memorable in any sort of way, aside from the villain. By the way, jumping off on another tangent, you're going to have a pretty easy time guessing who the villain is. The villain is pretty obvious, and it's really silly how the movie tries to mask it. The villain ends up being the guy who you expect the most, even though I don't know what they're getting at. They're trying to make you believe that he's not the bad guy, even though he's like, I won't double-cross you, as I twirl my long curled mustache. It was so obvious. It was such an obvious way to go. You could tell what was going on the whole time. I mean, it was easy to predict, but yet in the end you couldn't really predict it because there was just so much stuff happening at once. Like, in the last 20 minutes of the movie, there were about 5 or 6 characters knocked off. So it just all boiled down to who made it through, and it was kind of absurd just who made it through, but I'll try to recollect where I was. So the camera was bobbing all up and down. It was all over the place. We got that. The filming was horrible. It was really bad. As far as the acting goes, it was mediocre acting. It was just... And the plot overall, it was just a typical heist movie. I mean, there's so many... better heist movies out there than this. This was so average for what it was trying to do. And I'm not trying to like be this pessimist on it, or I'm not much of I can't say that I'm a critic of any kind of film or game, or I don't I would say if I collected my thoughts on paper, I'd be better for it than actually doing like an audio type review. But I can't give credit where credit isn't due. Where credit is due is the action scenes. The action scenes were done well. Even though the camera was jumpy and all over the place, there was a lot of shooting, there was a lot of running, there was a lot going on, and it was cliche, yes, but it was nice to look at. It was nice to see that when the movie is kind of just going in slow motion for the first 30 to 45 minutes of the movie. So I know I don't sound like much of somebody that analyzes stuff. I probably don't even sound that intellectual about what I'm talking about in terms of what goes into a film and what it's supposed to be like or whatever, but I'm just going based on my opinion and what I saw. I'm not trying to like analyze the special effects or the soundtrack or the acting or stuff like that, or just things like that about the movie that's supposed to make a movie good. I'm just going based on, I went in, I saw something, I came out, and this is what I thought of it, without trying to analyze it too much. And would I say it's worth a rental? I'd say it's worth a rental, I guess. But just that, it's not worth seeing at the show at all. In one of the scenes where one of the cops dies, it's just the reasoning behind what happened is so pathetic. It's the easy way out. It's so the easy way out. There were I just remembered how many plot holes I noticed, because one of the characters stashes something in the bushes as he's running away from the cops, and then the cop eventually gets shot by this guy who I'm just trying to wrap my head around it. One, we never go back to the bushes again. So, whatever. That part's gone. They never investigate that, or they never show it anyway. And eventually, it just all boils down to just a bunch of shooting in the end, and a couple people make it out, and there you go. That's the end of the movie. It's just whoever makes it through, and it's just ridiculous the way it comes down to it. I know I'm not sounding very smart about explaining this, but I don't know. That's what I got from it. So, I don't know. That's all I got. Takers, worth a rental, possibly, but not worth your money at the show. This one was very average. All right. Well, I will see you next time. Take care, everyone.